So, hello, welcome back to another episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. Today, we're going to go through and talk about Stoicism and Memetic Desire, 3 keys to living intentionally. Why have I chosen this one? Because I believe and I really think that intentional living and living consciously and experiencing your world and experiencing your day consciously really does make sense and really is a good thing. This is the reason why I'm willing to go through that. And also because today I kind of rediscovered Stoicism for myself. While I was working out, it's been an okay workout. I've been wasting just really a lot of time today in general with things. I need to be a bit speedier today. I've been listening to Ryan Holiday and some, Stoic quotes, Stoic sayings and Stoic strategies to, living your life, doing your thing, doing business, and all of these very great things. And so I thought, well, let's actually cover it a bit again. Let's actually talk about Stoicism a bit again. I clearly know, yes, there is a book summary that is left for me to talk about and go over, but I just really don't want to do it. So yeah, this is a guest post by Luke Burgess. Luke is the author of Wanting: The Power of Memetic Desire in Everyday Life, which is now available for pre-order and release on June 1st. Wanting: The Power of Memetic Desire in Everyday Life. And there's the cover, there's the book, you can see it. Is it actually a long article? No, it isn't. Well, anyway. Memetic desire is a concept that originated with the French thinker René Girard, I guess, or Girard, something like that, maybe, I don't know. He believed that our desires are not entirely our own. Instead, they are generated and shaped through a social process by which people imitate. Mimesis comes from the Greek word for imitate. Well, anyway, the desires of others. And the degree to which our desires are mimetic is unclear. Some students of Girard believe that everything humans want is derivative of what someone else has already wanted. Others think that only some desires are borrowed from others to greater or lesser degrees. It seems obvious that at least some desires are mimetic. When we were children, chances are that we wanted to do some things, like play a sport, because our friends did. Even as adults, we are very susceptible to mimetic behavior. It is easy to catch the desire to vacation somewhere, for instance, after we see a beautiful vacation photo on Instagram. Understanding our relationship to mimetic desire is an important step in becoming a person whose choices are not socially derived, but intentional. It's about gaining freedom from trends and bubbles and fates, the ability to have more agency in shaping the life we want. Here are 3 of the most important ways that Stoicism can help. Detachment. Epictetus wrote, "The faculty of desire supports to aim at securing what you want. If you fail in your desire, you are unfortunate. If you experience what you would rather avoid, you are unhappy. For desire, suspend it completely for now." And Heridion 2.1-2. Notice that he ends with "for now," quote unquote. It is not indefinite. Epictetus is recommending that we create some critical distance from our desires for a period of time so that we can discern which of them led to a good life and which do not. He talked about saying to a desire, "Hold on a moment, let me put you to the test." We can't suspend all desire indefinitely. Humans are desiring creatures, but we shouldn't immediately believe in the truth of every desire stirring up in us. Marcus Aurelius had a good exercise that can help us with this, stripping away the legend that encrusts things. And there's a quote. "Like seeing roasted meat and other dishes in front of you and suddenly realizing this is that fish, a that bird, a that pig, or that is noble vintage, or that this noble vintage is grape juice and the purple robes are sheep wool dyed with shellfish blood, receptions like that, latching onto things and piercing through them so we see what they really are. That is what we need to do all the time." Stoicism teaches that we should discern our desires carefully. That starts with developing a sense of attachment from them so that we can evaluate them critically. To some degree, something that I've discovered very recently. Taking a step back and trying to see things objectively is very useful. It's very useful to first of all, gaining distance, and through this distance, you can solve this problem. For example, me judging myself or me beating myself up for not doing something or me having done something that I really dislike and so on. This does not serve me, but I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it unless I realize, well, I am once again judging myself. I am once again just, beating myself up. And through this realization, I can do something about it. I can tell myself, I can say to myself, well, okay, you are doing this. So you realize that this is not doing any good to you, that this is actually making a lot of things worse for you. So it does make sense to stop it. It does make sense to focus on something different. It does make sense to do something different. And this is, kind of the thing there, seeing things as or how they objectively are. Okay, this is a hat, it is made out of something. Should it really be that valuable? This is, just some food, this is just some whatever. Does it really have to be that valuable? Do I really have to make it that valuable? Is this really of value? By taking steps back and by realizing what things are, by objectively having a look at them, we can make ourselves realize very important things and very crucial things that can lead, at least at my point of view, to a bit of a happier life. And also the whole thing about memetics is, comparing yourself to somebody else. Which, by the way, is also something that I have learned today, I would say. Comparing yourself to somebody else does not make any sense because you can't control them. You can't control what anybody else is doing. So, no, just don't. Deliberate action. Girard's theory of memetic desire doesn't give many practical solutions to the problems it presents. If our desires are truly memetic, then we don't have as much control over our desires as we like to think. So what should we do? Marcus Aurelius gives a Stoic prescription for this. He wrote that progress for a rational mind means not accepting falsehood or uncertainty in its perceptions, making unselfish action its only aim. What? Uncertainty in its perceptions, making unselfish actions its only aim, seeking and shunning only the thing it has control over. It is by taking deliberate action that we move forward, not by spending all of our time wrestling with or becoming consumed with our desires. We have to act, and it is through action that we ultimately make sense of our true desires. Learn to ask of all actions. Marcus writes, why are they doing that? Starting with your own. Why am I doing that? Why am I doing things? These virtues also form the basis of practical morality. Perennial desires. Desires come and go, but some things never change. The wisdom of Stoics is so relevant today because it is grounded in time-tested truths about human nature. The 4 Stoic virtues articulated in this letter by Marcus Aurelius are justice, prudence, self-control, and courage. For thousands of years, people have pursued these virtues and found that they never disappointed. We can't think of these virtues as the perennial desires of the wise. Those virtues also form the basis of practical morality. The great writer, an admirer of the Stoics, wrote this in a letter to a friend in 1750. About 30 years ago, I conceived the project of writing a book on duty. Cicero's treatise on duties had delighted me, and I took it as my model. As you know, Cicero had, as it were, copied Penathius, who was a Stoic, and the Stoics had treated this question most successfully. So I read the Stoics' principal work, among them the Moral Reflections of Marcus Aurelius, which struck me as the masterpiece of antiquity. I confess that I was impressed by its morality and that I should have liked to make a saint of Marcus Aurelius. What impressed me most was to discover that this morality was practical. This author could look to people that lived nearly 2,000 years before him because there are enduring desires that are common to people of all times and in all places. Pursuing them prevents us from pursuing ephemeral, which means nothing. Come on. Transitory, transient, fleeting, passing, short-lived, momentary, brief, short. We can stand on the accumulated wisdom of the great men and women that came before us. The 4 Stoic virtues are a good place to start. P.S. If you're interested in learning more about Memetic Desire, please check out the book that I wrote about it, Wanting the Power of Memetic Desire in Everyday Life. So wanting the power of Memetic Desire in everyday life. What I think we all can get out of this article, I don't really know what the last section was all about, to really be honest. I really didn't get a lot out of it. But, besides the literal fact that, yes, we can learn something from people that came before us and lived before us, but still, I think what is very important is to objectively see one's actions, to judge one's actions, but judging one's actions in a very objective way. Judging shouldn't make you feel even worse than you're already doing. Like, this is very nonsensical and is just not doing any good to you. If you're doing anything to you, this should make you do something that is great, and that it should do something to you that is great. Whether it is motivating you to do something, to actually do something, and or at least it should just not make things worse, whatever extent this might be in. It's very nonsensical, but I understand that a lot of people are doing that, including me. I'm also doing so. I also do indeed judge myself and talk about myself in a very negative way, but I shouldn't. But by trying as hard as I can, very lately or recently, to see things, pretty much as objective as I can, my life has, gotten better, way better. It's given me a tool to work on mental issues that I've had. Just seeing things objectively and trying to understand myself and trying to, work with myself and not against myself. But yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna end the episode. See you soon. Bye-bye.